Well, Cardinal fans, Oli Marmol is still going to be the manager in 2026, rightfully so. Yeah. But Ryan Fagan here with us on Card Central 365. New reports coming out that he might be possibly joined on the coaching staff by someone that fans all want.
Yeah, the reports out of Puerto Rico, Molina talking to one of the papers down there saying that he was in talks with the Cardinals to be part of the coaching staff. Mm-hmm. In this upcoming year, without kind of specifying exactly how that would look,
right?
What role, but I mean, so to hear it from Molina as a quote, I feel like that carries more weight because he's not going to just say that if it's something that's probably not going to say that if it's something that's just a long shot. But I mean, yeah, it would be fascinating. We saw, this year when he was around the team, kind of the impact and the way the players talked about. His insight, and to have him around there, I mean, we heard from players and other coaches the whole time he was in St. Louis as a player, like how beneficial he could be in different moments, in his own unique Yadier Molina style. To have him around would be, I think, nothing but a good thing for the Cardinals and Marmol as well.
Yeah, and again, maybe he caught a little bit of that bug with his 2 times here. The first one kind of popped up out of nowhere, and then the second one, the way that kind of happened, it was like, no, we're gonna make it even a day longer, like a full extended weekend of games. Like maybe he's kind of seen just the different roles he can play, because I think that's, people will jump on him again. He's had no managerial experience outside of the baseball WBC, that he's done down there.
On the WBC as well. So
was he that? Yeah, he was.
He was 23.
He's 23. He's doing again 26. So you do get, he's had the little taste of it here and there. Yeah. But again, people that are saying like Matt Holliday was supposed to be the bench coach, and it's like don't think people realize all of the work that goes into that. Especially spring training stuff, and it just seems like that stuff that Yadier Molina might not want to do unless he is all in on eventually becoming a manager. But Yadi might have the credentials to kind of jump that step, you would think.
Yeah, and that's why I'm curious to see what shape that would take, right? Because it's a huge time commitment. I mean, it's not just the 162 games, but like you said, it's the spring training, and if he's going to be the manager of the Puerto Rico team too. That would be an interesting way to come in to then immediately be gone as you're starting that. And that makes me wonder if there might be some sort of just agreement where he is there for set times.
Yeah.
And this is just speculation. I don't have anything to back that up. I just wonder, because of what we know and because of how involved he is with other things, how he's kind of relished his time away. But, he's had enough time away now, a couple years, that you can kind of scratch that itch, do the things you want to do in the summer that you haven't been able to do your entire life. And then you kind of get to the point where like, hey, I really, really miss the game. I miss the everyday. Yeah.
And you mentioned, having to be there with the World Baseball Classic, and he'd be down in Miami. I think the whole time. I think they're, I think so. Look at where their pool is for that, but for the majority of it, he'd be down in Miami. You do have to wonder how much managing goes in to a team like the Puerto Ricans. Same with I would say the same thing goes for like the US team.
Oh yeah.
The Dominican Republic. Like how much managing, coaching goes into that, and how much of it is just plug and play. Like, oh, okay, these are the 20 major leaguers you're going to give me.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, go out there and play baseball. Like you're not putting in wheel drills and
well,
stuff.
But it is, I mean, in a lot of ways, the day-to-day is tougher, because it's not that you have 20 all-stars. It's like you have this all-star for 30 pitches on this day, and then you can't use him again for the rest, for the next couple of days. And it's, Mark DeRosa, who was the Team USA manager, he talked about kind of the frustration a little bit of having all of these amazingly talented players and then only being able to use them in certain ways. So in that way, it's not harder because it's a shorter period of time, but there are much more restrictions on what you can and cannot do as a manager in the WBC, as opposed to what a big league manager can do during spring training and during the regular season.
The projected, as I'm going through here, the projected roster for Puerto Rico's
would be great
team. You have names like Christian Vasquez, Francisco Lindor, Carlos Correa, Kike Hernandez, Javi Baez, Willie Castro on that list, and then pitching. Not bad either. Jose Barrios, Jorge Lopez, Marcus Stroman, Edwin Diaz. I guess his brother would also be on that too.
He didn't exactly have a great 25.
No, but it's an arm that can pitch for you.
Lindor's already, I believe,
he's the captain.
For 26. Yeah.
So again, like that's what the it's a lot. It's not as difficult as having to manage some of the other teams, but nonetheless, I would think that he would have a huge impact if that's the case. Just any kind of time he'd be able to spend in spring training, which he hasn't yet, since he's retired, to help a player like Iván Herrera, who would be, who by all means is still trying to want to catch next year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like when you mentioned, he was supposed to be kind of part of the process for many times over the last couple of years, and it hasn't happened. So it's fair to wonder. And and it would be interesting to see. He was relentlessly determined to be prepared for every single thing, and a lot of what he did, was kind of preparing himself. Like, and if he could take that focus and put it into others, that's what. If you're a Cardinals fan, you're like, oh, this would be fantastic, because he wasn't the world's greatest offensive player, but he understood how to take the right kind of swing in the right type of situation. And if, that meant, plugging a ball, an outside pitch to right field, then he was really good at doing that in the big moments. So you kind of have him there. The idea of having him there, and again, we'll see whether it's as just a flat out full-time coach like everyone else, if the Cardinals would be willing to work out some sort of scenario where he's around at certain times. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, it just being a flat out big league coach involves so much more than 162 games of the regular season. It's ridiculous.
How many wins could Yadier Molina add to a Cardinals season? Well, starting December 1st in Missouri, you can bet on that using the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. New customers today, you can get $300 in bonus bets when we launch on December 1st. Download now and place a $5 bet when we go live on December 1st. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code STL Sports. That's code STL Sports to grab $300 in bonus bets with just $5 when we go live on December 1st. That's code STL Sports in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. So I do mention Iván Herrera in that. I think he would probably gain the most from that. Is there anybody else like that you could look at from last year's roster and kind of think that could be somebody to benefit him?
Well, kind of what I was talking about with the hitting approach, right? And that's kind of what I was leading into. Is we saw swings that weren't ideal often throughout the year, often from the same kind of players, and if you can have, when you looked at the Cardinals when he was there and Pujols was there, everybody thought of Pujols as the hitting guru, but I mean, Molina turned himself into a legitimate force. I mean, he didn't got eclipsed 20 home runs, twice, hit 20 twice. So he was never that power guy, but he was always someone who could put the ball in play. He didn't strike out a lot. I'm looking at his stats on Baseball Reference. He never struck out more than 79 times in a season. Right. So right there, that's something that just is a kind of what he sees from some of the Cardinals young hitters and even the veteran hitters. Right. I think he has that kind of presence that it doesn't matter who it is. If Yadier Molina comes up to you and says, hey, let me talk to you about something, you're going to listen.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's another way, even though, he's not going into the Hall of Fame because of his his hitting. I think he still has a lot, should he choose to do that, a lot that a value he could offer.
Well, we know Oli Marmol will not be looking over his shoulder if Yadi is on the bench with him. I think he was very, very upfront about that last year during the 2 weekends. So that would, honestly, I think to begin, that would have been one of the biggest question marks. And I think Oli has put that to bed immediately.
Yeah.
But we know how fans are. That is still going to be quite a loud whisper turning into even more with every single loss. We'll see how it plays out over the next few weeks and see what that looks like as the 2026 coaching staff tends to take shape. But in the meantime, we will sign off for today. Check back in tomorrow with another edition of Card Central 365. All content here brought to you by DraftKings. The crown is yours. He's Ryan Fagan. I'm Joe Roderick. It's STL Sports Central.